This episode is sponsored by eToys World, great mates. Go to www.etoysworld.co.uk/discount/PHC10 for 10% off your first order, and that'll be absolutely fan-dabby-daisy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Polyhedron Collider Cast episode 190. I'm Steve Tudor.
I'm Andy Lewis.
I'm Sid Gill.
And I'm Rory Summers.
Right, folks, I've been asking at the end of the last few episodes for people to write reviews on the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts.
Right.
And I said we haven't had any reviews since 2019. And I was both wrong and right, because it ends up that my webpage for Apple Podcasts was set to America. And your Apple Podcast rating is different depending on what country you're in.
Oh.
Which means if you go on the UK feed, you can see we've had written reviews very recently, including Where's Andy? On the American website, on the American Apple Podcast website, we've had nothing since 2019. But what's even weirder is we actually have different rating scores depending on what country you're listening in.
Really?
Oh.
Wow.
So in the UK, we score a 4.8 out of 5.
Hey, that's
Solid.
not bad.
I like that.
That's good. We'll take that.
Yeah, can we all just acknowledge the fact that we were all surprised by that as well?
I'm gonna level with you boys. I'm surprised we got above 3.
Anyway, carry on.
In the US, we're not doing as well. 4.5
Still pretty good.
includes the only negative written review.
I really want to know what the negative review is.
Name and shame.
Down we go. It's actually, well, as I said, it's for a really old one, so I'll go find it now.
Is it really old? Is it pre-Sid and Rory? Because that may explain something. Just saying.
That would really put the point home, wouldn't it, Rory?
I think actually it is. So, the headline of the review is Charming but Inarticulate Brits.
That could be from any episode.
Any one of us.
3 stars. This is from July 2019.
Oh, it's before me.
So it's before Sid.
Yeah,
It says, a couple of blokes discussed their feelings about board games. I said a couple of blokes. It must be just me and Andy. So this
That was probably one of our sort of...
I joined in May 2019. I joined just before the expo that year.
It says, short on the kind of comparisons or descriptions of game content that might make their reviews more helpful.
Right.
I mean, he's accurate.
I was going to say, yeah, that sounds about right, to be honest. Nail on the head, really.
I think we often compare board games. We just don't often compare them to other board games.
Yeah.
I won't read the rest of it because it goes a little bit rambly, but then it says they finish off with the reviews by, it didn't quite tickle my fancy and I can't put my finger on why. So why am I listening?
Yeah, so your fancy has been tickled, you just don't want to admit it.
No, this is a quote from one of us.
Oh.
Saying that it didn't quite tickle my fancy and I couldn't put my finger on why.
That sounds very you.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
It sounds very Fence City British, frankly, and quite frankly, I'm proud of that statement.
That's risk-averse Tudor right there.
It is, isn't it? It screams risk-averse Tudor, that does.
Sore arse Tudor.
However, folks...
Right. Oh, does it
the
get better?
real diamond here... Yeah, it gets much better. Guess what our score is in Canada?
5.0.
I've always said I love the Canadians.
Well, you'll love them even more now. We score 5 out of 5.
I reckon that's because of my field trip a couple of years ago where I was in Western Canada spreading the love.
No, it's because there's one guy, and we probably know him.
That's what I meant. I met him in person.
There you go. There's the answer. So we're right. So not only has Andy gone on over and bought that
It
review.
was a diplomatic mission, basically.
Mate, the day you become an envoy is the day I hand my British passport in.
You can't deny you know where you'd stand with me as an ambassador.
Yeah, in a war-torn country. Because everybody would be pissed off with everyone.
I can't do any worse than Boris Johnson, surely. No, I've got you there.
No,
It's hard to argue. It's
say to
hard to
that,
argue
really.
with fact, isn't it?
Anyway,
So are we moving on to our new section now with Rory?
Is this the new section? Right. So the new section is
So Rory's tenuous links.
Rory's
do we need like a
tenuous-
little jingle
I-
now? Do we? Like,
I think-
Rory's tenuous links.
Yeah, let's. Is that going to be? I think that should be the jingle. So, last episode we were talking quick Japanese games, right? This episode is oldies because all the games we're talking about are actually old in one way or another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, three of the 4 games are reprints.
3 of the 4.
Yeah.
The 4th is a bit of a swing for it, but
Yeah, we'll get on to why, yeah.
so let's talk about some of these golden oldies.
I'm getting 80s DJ vibes from this now. I'm going to have to admit, I've come up with the smashy and dicey, mate. It's absolutely appropriate.
Hang on.
I was waiting for that to happen. I
Yeah.
can see Andy biting his lip.
That's exactly what was in my head, though. I was thinking Smashy and Dicey. It's like when you're running them down.
So what board games have you been playing, great mate?
That's good. That's a good impression, actually.
He's not bad. I mean, Steve does look a bit like Chris Tarrant as well.
Hey.
You dusty bin in the corner and crack on.
Random fact, I was told in uni that Chris Tarrant was expelled from my university for throwing a goose off the top of the halls of residence.
I can completely believe it. Now that we've truly demonstrated that we were around for the first time these games came out.
Let's do it. Let's be doing it. I'm going to do him in age order. Yeah.
Only you would know that. Only you would know the chronological order of these games coming out, Rory.
Yeah.
I'm both impressed and terrified.
Right. We're going to start with a game that's coming back to Kickstarter at the end of this month on the 28th, so shortly after this episode goes out, from Play for Keeps Games. And it is going to be Mexica that we're going to talk about first today.
Oof.
Now, I will say there's another slight tenuous link with these games in that I may have thrown a bit of a childish strop playing each and every one of them.
This is becoming a bit of habit of yours, Rory. Because you totally hulked out at aircon. You dropped out a couple of times at Steve's.
He's just an emotional little boy.
I'm a very emotional man, and
It's what happens when your balls drop. All that testosterone flowing through his body doesn't know what to do with it.
Why do you have to bring it back to my one ball, Sid? Why do you have to do it every time?
Because I love that you correct me every time. Because I always pluralise it and you have to correct it.
Oh, you're an arse.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm distracting you from the important content. Like we shouldn't be rambling. We're inarticulate now. You see, we're living up to our reviews.
So, Mexica is a clever little area control game, first published in 2002. Play for Keeps are bringing it back with new artwork, some streamlining, and this is what we're going to get. So it is an area control game played over 2 phases. Each phase, you've got an amount of temples that have different sizes and different scoring. You're going to be putting those into regions. So you've got this big island, and you're going to be carving this island up with using canals. In your turn, you're going to potentially move your worker, put some canals down to make these sections, and these sections have to have a total square area that equals one of the scoring tiles. So if the scoring tile is 13, you need to have 13 squares in this canaled off area. You then move into this area, claim it by dropping down one of your temples, and then it becomes an area majority. So my level 3 temple will be your level 2 temple. You can build some bridges, you have to move around the board, and essentially just carve up this island over the course of the game. At the end of round 1, when these 8 tiles have been all scored, you then get 7 more tiles, you get your second batch of temples, and you do the process all over again. And this time you'll score for all of the districts, all of the areas, whoever's got the majority. And then any areas that don't have these little scoring tiles, you'll just score for the size of that district as well after that. It's really simple. You've got 6 actions. You're going to move your worker, cost 1 action, whether it's onto a bridge, off a bridge to an adjacent space. Move between bridges, placing a temple down costs you the amount of actions of the size of the temple. So a size 4 temple will cost you 4 action points. And that really is it. That's all the rules covered in this game. It's a oldie, rules light, strategy deep. And the reason I got in a bit of a strop about this, because I know that's the thing you're really asking, is I was not happy at all that Steve was so clever and so sneaky at this game, and he was sneakier and cleverer than me before me, and then I couldn't do anything about it to unsneak him. I had a proper moan at how unfair he was being cleverer than me.
Now you know how we felt at Sand.
So what this game does really well is none of these like places are locked until you actually do final scoring. So you can always drop in temples into other places, though once an area is bordered off by these canals and the scoring token goes on, you can't put more canals in and chop it up any further. But what you can do is you can keep putting more temples in. And also the temples add up. So like, for instance, like Rory could put a 3 temple in there, but I could put 2 2s in there. So I've got the score of 4, so I beat him. But, and this is the really fun bit, you can block movement in this game. You can build temples in such a way that your little meeple, which needs to be in the places to drop temples, can't move. You can also do things like, especially later in the game, you put the bridges down, and one of the great things about the game is you basically teleport between bridges. I always said it as you got a boat on the canal and got to the other bridge. Well, you can actually, when you get to a certain point, you'll run out of bridges. You start removing bridges. So you start taking bridges off the places you don't want Rory to put his temples, which means he's got to spend extra actions to move other bridges into place.
On top of that, you can also move along a canal out of the outside of the island and move all the way around the island and in another canal as well. You can sort of hop around.
Can you do that?
Oh, his face is just lit up there. Oh, yeah, you totally can. Well, we did in the demo, Rory, and the demonstrator.
Because you played this at Expo, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, because it's one piece of water. Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's one bit of water, so you can zoom all the way around the island. You can basically go off one canal and in another one. As long as the water's connected, you can jump around all over the place. It adds an extra dimension to being a dick. It really does.
Yes.
Even more so now that Rory is going to get really pissed off and have a little paddy because he's found out that he could have won.
You're right. Uninterrupted water includes the surrounding lake. It's got it here in blue italics. Missed that. I don't think it would have made much difference because despite my stroppiness, Steve won by not the greatest of margins. It was a win, but I'd managed to get some points.
Now, we did play 2-player, so, I mean, you play this game with more players. And I must admit, because of the Kickstarter, we haven't played this game as much as I think we would like to before we do a full review. I'd like to try it with, I think this game's going to shine at 4 players. We're being dicks at 2. At 4, you're going to have even more temples on the board, more shenanigans, more blocking. I want to play this at 4. I think it's going to be absolutely freaking amazing.
I can absolutely guarantee that is the case. Because I played, I think it was at 3, it might have been 4 at Expo. So yeah, we played at higher play count, and yes, it's absolutely true. There's a lot more interaction. There's a lot more fighting over each area. Just when you think you've done well, and you think, aha, I've been sneaky and put a 3 in there, and you can't go in there. Someone else will go in there and stick something else down, and then stick it right by the door, so you can't go in there and build any more. Which is, really
sometimes,
quite good.
As Steve demonstrated many times at the weekend, he'd just nip in. I'd go into this area and drop down a big size 4 temple, and it's worth 13 points. And he'd come along and just drop in a size 1 and pick up second place, which is 7 points.
Yeah.
Spending a fraction of the actions to do it and just piggybacking on all of my hard work.
Yeah.
So Steve was very sneaky, very clever, and it upset me because he was absolutely right, and he got there before I did.
The one thing that dawned on me when we played this as well is that when you're playing it, because as you mentioned, Rory, it's because it's split into sort of 2 ages. You fight like hell for the first age, for those sort of 7 or 8 areas, however much it is, to start with, and you think, yes, I've done really well. I've got a load of points from the first area, and then the game opens up. And you're still fighting over the same 8 areas plus a load more as well. So the tables can totally change on the first areas as well. And that was a wonderful, wonderful realization, which did not go in my favour. I'm not going to lie when I played, but it was a fantastic twist on the game because not only have you got to consider the new areas that open up, but you've still got to defend the ones that are still there. But you can also take advantage of your opponent basically not looking after them. So there's a lot to think about in this game, considering it is quite a straightforward either move a chap, build a building, or stick a canal
Build
down.
a canal, yeah. Rules light. There is so much going on in this game. Had such good fun. It is, and when I talk about these golden oldies, it does have that feel. It feels like a classic game here. It just feels so well developed, so finely tuned. It's just solid, good game. This is.
It really is, and the wooden blocks are very solid. You could kill a man with those things.
Do you know, what Play for Keeps have done in terms of the art, the presentation, and those components, really chunky. It looks beautiful on the table. It really just it makes it look like a very, very modern game, but it has all the classical feels that it's due from a was it a Kramer Kilsing 2002 game? Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Really enjoyed it. And it does give good photo as well.
Yeah, it does. It's going to be an Instagram darling, this is, absolutely. So,
has it changed much from the original?
From what I understand from the guys over at Play for Keeps, that they have done some work on streamlining the rules for the games that they're reintroducing. So they've got a Kickstarter coming. There's 4 games, two big boxes, 2 small boxes. They're all older games that have just been reinvigorated. So they have had some development work done to them, but I don't know what exactly. But what I saw at the weekend playing Mexica, this is a stonking game. And I think the Kickstarter campaign is going to be really interesting because it is going to be multiple pledges for multiple games. I think it's going to be a really great way to get hold of these because it's a Play for Keeps is just starting out. This is a brand new publisher that are reinvigorating these older games, and I'm really keen to see which game they pick up next after this.
Yeah, totally.
After the success of these ones, yeah.
Yeah, because we're obviously about to be talking about another one in this pack. But yeah, I mean, I think they've done a really good job of picking 2, I'm going to say big games, but bigger, sort of regular size games, and 2 smaller ones as a nice little sort of introductory pack almost to what they're going to produce. But I'm really keen on seeing what they're going to do next because I think they've done a really good job with the 2, one of which we're about to talk about in this set. So they're off to a flying start. They really are.
So on that note, let's jump over to the next game in chronological order. 2003, Bridges of Shangri-La, also from Play for Keeps. Also part of the same Kickstarter.
And the recipient of our Definitely Not Shit award at the UK Games Expo. So that cat's kind of out the bag already on this one, isn't it?
Well, I didn't play this game at Expo, so I played this for the first time over this last couple of weekends. So, very, very briefly, it's similar kind of abstracty type game. So you have a bunch of locations connected by bridges. And then on each space you have, is it 9 different tokens that can possibly
7.
go there?
Yeah, 7 or 9,
7,
something like that, yeah.
7 or 9, it's an odd number, which you can only ever put 2 on. The first one is a master and the second one is a student. It's not important, but basically on your turn, you can place one down in a location where you already have pieces, which is your one master down, or you can put 2 students down, which have to go on top of another piece. Or you can move, but when you move all the students from one location to the other and destroy the bridge that's behind you on the way.
Yeah.
Because apparently the bridge was built by students and is therefore not very reliable or sturdy.
Yes. Now, the only subtlety in this game is the fact that if you go from an area that's stronger to an area that's weaker, you will basically kick out everything that's already there. So if another player's pieces are already there for that type, then you will replace it. If you go into a stronger area, then you can only go into empty slots. Everything just gets destroyed. So it's supposed to be students and masters going into area, but it's effectively a combat. Move from a stronger area to a weaker area, you will usurp people. Go from a weaker to a stronger, you will just go where the other people aren't. As you move over these, as I said, the bridge gets destroyed, and once an area is completely cordoned off, so you can't get to it via any bridge, you put a little Griffin Manticore type token on there, and once all those tokens have gone, it's game over, and you just score out how many masters are on the board. It's a very simple scoring mechanism.
And again, it's a very simple rule set.
It's a very simple rule set, but It's so hard to play.
This is why I liked it so much. This is why I walked away going, that was bloody brilliant. I mean, I was dreadful at it. I'm not gonna lie, but I think it packs in so much game for so little effort, almost in terms of rule set. It is literally 3 things you can do. And there's so much think and so much crunch and so much, Christ, I want to do 3 things, I can only do 1. That's a bastard. But you can also kind of cajole your opponents into doing things for you, because there's almost a semi-cooperative element to it.
You're absolutely. I love that aspect of this game. It's absolutely brilliant.
Wonderful,
it's
isn't
so
it?
much fun.
It's so clever. You can kind of almost get an opponent to do something for you, in the sense like if they put one of their pieces in a village that you're maybe trying to take over or move, by adding one of their pieces, they automatically make that village stronger. So if you decide, right, they've now done me a favour, I can move that village now because it's stronger than the one I wanted to move it into. Or they could have moved the village, got rid of a bunch of your opponents, and you can then move in and take it and just put a piece in there as well and get a piece of that pie. There are so mmany options. It's wonderful.
It is regret. I love this aspect of the game of trying to work out and trying to second guess and trying to almost stack the deck. If I do this, if I put my students here, that encourages Steve to do the move action, which moves me and him over there to kick out Sid and Andy. And then we'll cover more stuff, but I will cover more stuff than Steve. But I want Steve to use his action to do the thing I want him to do. It's brilliant. And then Steve does something completely different, which ruins my entire plan because he's looking after his own interests. Because, Steve doesn't care about how I feel. Yeah, he's selfish like that. Doesn't care about me winning.
No. But now you see why I walked away from it in Expo just going, this is totally game of the show. It's just magnificent. The
production quality of this, the artwork on this, I think it's another Instagram darling. It's got a really cool retro feel to it. It looks very, was it like 70s, 80s fantasy style?
It reminds me of that kind of, like 70s or 80s, like the old Lord of the Rings illustrations, or is it Wizard?
Yeah.
Which is like a comic which has got like, I'm going to have to look it up, but there's like an image of like a bloke riding a ostrich. You'll either know it or you don't, but it's like a 60s or 70s art. Yeah.
But the look of that, the artwork, and then the components, again, just nice wooden tokens. That's all it is. And these manticores and the bridges, it's all simple, but it's all really high quality. On top of this really rules light, but tactically strategic, deep game. Which means, I suppose, with both of these games, and we don't know yet because the campaign hasn't gone. I'm not expecting these games to cost a lot of money. I think these are going to be well within punt territory. Both of them.
£30, I reckon.
I think that because
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around that number each, and they're going to be belting. They're just going to be really good fun, and they're kind of like thematically, they're not too deep. They're quite accessible themes, really, because the theme is quite kind of tacked on. They're quite abstract. You just go, but they look nice. The components are nice, and they're really easy to teach. I think these are going to get a lot of table time and are going to be great for like newer or older gamers that want to just freshen something up. Both of them also really, really quick games.
Yeah, 45 minutes, if that, for Shangri-La, if that. And I think Mexico's probably a little longer, but they're not long. I'd say an hour tops.
An hour tops. And again, it goes back to that classic idea. These are really old school games that just want you to get in, get it played, move on to the next game or replay it and make a whole evening of playing lots of really good games. Great work from the guys over at Play for Keeps. Wish them all success. They deserve it for these two alone.
Totally. Absolutely. Wholeheartedly agree. Brilliant games.
Do I get Rory was right for Andy saying that he totally agrees wholeheartedly?
Because I said it first, so you agree with me technically.
Kind of. You did give him the award.
Yeah.
I haven't got to click that for a while. I'm looking forward to double digits. Anyway, it's not that often. I've only been doing it this year, so.
Yeah, no, we're in July, mate.
I know.
Come on.
No. Anyway. Those are those two games. The next game, chronological order, and at this point, I'm going to go take a break because I feel like I've done a lot of talking. And I don't want to talk about this game because this was another Rory had a strop, which we also need a jingle for. This is Container.
Dear God, do you have a strop?
Oh. So this is another reprint, I suppose, because it's a reprint of the big box that they did a few years ago. This is Container, and the premise of Container is quite simple. You are shipping boxes from a factory to another warehouse onto a central island, where I'm assuming the residents, abstracted wise, need these various colours of containers, of which there are 5 colours.
It's dinosaurs, isn't it? If I remember correctly, on the island in the middle? Or have I made that up in my own head?
I think that's in your head, mate.
I don't think it is, I'm sure it's dinosaurs in the middle of
One
the
of the
island.
companies has a dinosaur as a logo.
Yeah, you have like set hexes which represent the 5 companies which you represent, and one of them has like dinosaurs on the artwork for the hex, Sid. But Andy's right. The product is completely abstract. You have a factory which makes yellow.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah. It's a yellow icing container, a red icing container, blue, green, and white. I think the other colour is, yeah. So the idea is that every player will get a secret card which will tell them how valuable each of those containers is to them. And nobody else knows that information. So you're all kind of fighting over these containers, of which there is a limited supply. When they run out, the game will end. Or at least 2 of them run out, the game will end. And you're all trying to get these colours into your own areas. But of course, you're trying to get the one that's most valuable to you. And of course, nobody else knows that. The thing is, you can't move your own containers into your area. You have to get the other players to do it for you. And it takes a little bit to get your head around that as to how
No. It's not that simple, Andy.
It's
not. No, it's not. No. I manufacture the goods.
Let me finish.
Right.
I was about to explain how it worked. But ultimately, you're trying to get some containers into the central island. Just because you didn't wrap your head around this.
No. You have to get containers into the central island. That bit I agree with, right? I didn't do it, but that's what...
Yes, I know you didn't. That was a spectacularly...
I took a different tactical route in that game, okay?
By not doing it at all, yeah. But ultimately, the stuff you make kind of has to take a fairly circuitous route. It might end up in your area of the central island, but it probably won't. So you build stuff at a factory, which then other players will buy for a price that you set, assuming they buy it. If you set it price too high, which I'm led to believe Rory did in his first game, and nobody ended up buying anything.
And I learned and made everything cheaper in the second game.
Yes, which still didn't work.
May have made it too cheap.
Yes. And those people will then buy those containers and put them in their own kind of dockyard, essentially, so other people can move their ships in to buy those from the dockyard, which they can then subsequently move to the central island. All the other players will then bid on that cargo, and the winner of that bid will put those containers in their area. So you can't directly control where your containers go. And you can't put your ship will not end up in the containers in your ship will not end up in your area. So you have to buy somebody else's stuff to put into your area. So the skill of the game, other than price matching, is to try to manage the flow of goods via other players to try and get it into your area. And then you've got to try and get the most of the best value goods in your area so you score the most points.
There's also a bit of a pickle there in that the most containers you have in your area get removed from the game when you don't score for them. So you can't just swamp your area the most valuable of containers to you. You have to try and balance it so that the least value containers are the ones that get wiped out. Then there's an auction system in the middle of the game as well, which allows you to bid on containers. There's a small amount of containers available, or money, and you have to do vice versa. So you have to bid containers for money and money for containers, and only one auction can happen at any one time. And being in the game, you're kind of going, well, what's the point in that? All right, okay, there's a container there. I'll bid $1 for one container. Oh, that's a good price. But what happens is the bank money keeps building and building and building throughout the game. So people start going, right, well, hang on, there's $20 there. That's a lot of money. So everyone starts bidding containers, and when they bid those containers, they become the next thing available for bid. The containers just there, so everyone's like, "Hang on, there's 6 yellow containers there. I could do getting them on a ship because it looks like Andy's buying them and getting them in his area." So many cool little economic things going on, and the only other thing that really on top of that, you got bank loans as well. And the cool thing about the bank loans is when people pay the interest on the bank loan, because they have to do it every turn, that goes into the bank, which everyone can see, which means the bidding is more attractive then.
Yeah, I think the money is just tight enough to fuel that little engine.
Yeah.
If there was any more in money in the game, you might not need a loan, so that interest wouldn't go in. But it is.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a skill to making a bid, but yes.
In the 4-player game, we had at one point 3 players all had loans.
Yes.
Steve was the only one that didn't have a loan, which means between Steve's turn and Steve's turns again, there were $3 more in that auction bank at the middle. So it's like between Steve's turns, that $3 is a big difference between rounds, and all of a sudden that just has to get snatched up.
And yes, it was. And then of course, how many crates you make, you can bid on that money. And of course, towards the end of the game, the capability of making those crates is higher because you've built more factories, so you can make more stuff. The problem with that is the more stuff you make, the quicker you accelerate the game because you burn through the containers, which are limited to, what is it, 10 each, 12 each, something like that of each colour?
Depends on the player count, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can build as much as you like, but the more you build, the faster the game ends. So you've got less chance of it. It's really clever.
It is. Everything about this game is clever. It's a really cool economic game with proper economics. You know, there's not much money going into the game as you play. It's largely static until someone auctions off a bunch of containers, and whoever was shipped that ship gets whatever the highest bid was plus the same amount from like the government as like taxes, you might as well call it. So shipping those containers and distributing them is well worth your advantage, and that's the only time money actually enters the game. So until people are doing that, it's just the same amount of money just bouncing around between people. So all that's happening is money and containers are just jumping from person to person.
Yeah, that's it. Because if I want to produce at my factory, I pay the player on my right. If I want to buy something from you, I pay you. And then if you want to buy something from me, you pay me. And that, at the beginning of that game, that economy is all kind of similar because we're all selling everything quite cheap just to get the engine going. And then my engine never really accelerated.
It needs a bump start.
I did a fantastic job of fueling everybody else's game. Everybody had a great game because of me. I sold everything cheap for the entire game.
So what you're saying is basically you're what's it called? Not an investor, a venture capitalist. That's it.
No, they try and make
That's
money,
true.
mate.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, yeah. Charity. That's what Rory was.
Philanthropist, I think.
To put things in context for you there, Sid, on the last game we played with Andy, I won with a total score of $139. Rory got $36.
It's not often we go over scores of our games on the podcast, and I feel quite upset that you've picked on me this time.
But Sid, that's not the best bit. The best bit is you start the game with $20.
I didn't realise that.
I haven't finished. The first game me and Rory played, Rory ended the game with a score of 11.
Wow.
So he throughout the entirety of the game, he lost $9.
This is the Donald Trump school of business.
Art of the dealer here. But I'm pleased to hear you say this about this game, because we talked about this game a few months back, didn't we? As a bit of one of our preview episodes.
You picked it as in the beginning of the year. You picked it as a game to look forward to this year, and you were spot on, Sid.
And what's happened? What you've described are all of the touch points that I was expecting us to enjoy. That kind of that kind of hidden market, the bidding, the friction, and I think the changes that we talked about at the start of the year have really come through as proper good changes to the game. Because one of the criticisms of the earlier game is that the economy is a bit too tight. But it sounds like from what you guys are saying now is it's loosened up just enough, but still feels
The economy's still tight, but it is, as you said, it's just enough movement, increase in the amount of cash going in that accelerates the game. Now, we played with Adam's Kickstarter copy, although I understand you can buy this version still. So the base game of this is perfectly adequate, but we played with the fancy version, which came with metal container ships and little metal containers that slot into the ships, and it looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. But I mean, the standard version I think just comes with cardboard and wooden tokens, and it works absolutely fine. But here's the beauty: on eToys World, our sponsor, this is currently £30.
You're
For
joking.
the fancy one.
No, the standard one.
Right, okay.
For the standard one, but our RP is £40.
30 quid, that's a
£40.
bargain.
So you can get this for £30.
Let's put that into context, ladies and gentlemen. Sid here spent more than that on 4 drinks at the pub last week.
May I also point out, ladies and gentlemen, that is not an uncommon occurrence.
No. So eToys World are frankly giving the thing away here. Go and buy it.
That reminds me, actually, just as a slight aside, the Osprey Games sale is still going on, and I managed to acquire Merv, Shangri-La, goodness me,
Sankori
and IR for 80 quid, all 3,
Ooh,
with free shipping.
that's good.
So we've just said it's on eToys World. It's currently only 1 in stock.
Chop chop. So by the time this goes out, it won't be.
No, it'll have restocked by then. It's all right.
You can get the Gucci one as well, which is the princely sum of 70 quid. It's got the playmat and all the other fancy gear in it.
Oh, why am I looking? This game made me so sad.
Only because you're shit at it.
I'm so bad at this game.
Do you know what? When we talked about it before, I'm fairly comfortable that was a conclusion that we came to then as well, that this would create friction and arguments, and I'm pleased that it has. And it's made one of us feel inadequate, which means the other 3 of us are having more fun than we would have had otherwise. So really, it's delivered on all fronts.
Sid just wants to watch the world burn, doesn't he?
He
just wants to watch someone else burn.
Sometimes other people's misery is somebody else's fun. It's just a little mild bit of misery, isn't it?
Always. But yes, Steve and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I would really like to play it again, actually, and I'm very tempted to try and buy it, but
Bagsy
we shall
not.
see.
I think it does work a bit better at higher player count.
Yeah, plays up to 5,
But
if I remember rightly.
It plays up to 5, so I played it with 3 and 4. I did think it worked better at 4, and I would like to try it at 5 because you're going to be a bit more bartering and a bit more things. Because what happens when you're with less players, there tends to be a bit more overlap, or a bit more overlap with what you're manufacturing. Whereas with 3 or 4 players, you still have that overlap, but the overlap isn't concentrated. If that makes sense.
I think there'll be a big difference between 3 and 5. The reason I say that is because there's 5 types of containers, but you can only build 4 factories. So there's one colour that one person could never build. And I think that will be really significant in a 4 and 5 player game. I think there'll be a big change there because there'll be a lot more interaction, especially the 5 player count, with the players, because you'll be wanting the one colour you can't build. So you'll actively be trying to buy something else. So I think there'll be a lot more interaction there at 5 players. I think there'll be a very, very scrappy game.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that's Container. Absolutely brilliant game.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Loved it.
Should we talk about Drillers then? Which is not a reprint. It's the one thing that doesn't fit into Rory's tenuous theme of the week.
Not yet.
So this is the latest game from Czech Games Edition, CGE, and a bit of a timely review because I believe it's going... We've played it ahead of the retail release, or just ahead of the retail release, and Gen Con is just around the corner, and it's going to be released for Gen Con. This is kind of an economic game in many ways. You have a driller, which is a little vehicle with arms and legs. It's like a little mecha type robot, but it's like an aeroplane or a boat or a van with little drill and leg attachments. And you are going down a mine, drilling holes in the wall and claiming materials. So you'll take a drill action, which will release resources. Then you can pick those resources up in your limited storage and take them back up the surface to sell. You use that to get money. You can use that money to buy upgrades because you want cards in your hand because this is a deck builder game. So you'll be playing cards from your hand, which will allow you to take the move actions and drill actions, and some of these cards will also do special bonuses. The limiting factor here is every single card costs fuel to play, and sometimes you'll have to burn cards because cards can also be used as fuel. So if you go back to the surface, you always replenish your fuel. Go back down, you may have to use cards in order to replenish your stock. When you go sell goods, there is, I think, 6 different grades of material which you can mine out the mine. The first 3 score you points and then score you less points, and the low grade stuff are worth less money at the end. What you do is whenever you drill the walls out or you drill further down, that thing you drill out goes onto your board and scores you points at the end of the game, or the materials you've sold score you points at the end of the game as well. You have some extra little things going in there, like for instance, as you go down, the different floors will have a card. Every floor will have a different effect, and so every time you play, the mine will be different. Also, you have your normal upgrade cards, which go into your deck, and you will have these special upgrade cards, which you have to do some of the drilling actions to get hold of the batteries, which power these, which are super duper upgrades. Usually really expensive. Unlike a lot of deck builders. Unlike a lot of deck builders, your cards you buy aren't worth any points. They just affect the game. But your starting cards are worth negative points, which is quite interesting.
So you're incentivized to burn them.
You are incentivized to burn them, and you will gain as well. You'll gain damage cards, which will clog up your deck, which also give you negative points. The only other real interesting thing is you have this weird little deck stand, and when you draw your cards and buy new upgrades, they don't go into your discard pile. They go on top of your deck, and you can see what the next card you're going to draw is. So what often happens is when you're buying a card, you're actually planning your next few turns.
So you essentially have your deck face up. But these card holders make sure your deck is only facing you. Because if you want to get really deeply tactical, you'll know what other players are potentially going to do. But it means when you have to draw a card, and many cards allow you to do that, you'll always know what the next card is going to be. Which is a nice little twist.
Really simple. Grab some cards which allow you to go down into the mine, dig some holes, grab minerals, go up to the surface, flog them. You'll gain victory points for drilling, and you'll gain victory points for flogging minerals. That's basically about it. There are some achievements, so the first person to dig enough stuff will get an achievement, which will get them points. When that gets locked, everyone else gets a bonus, which might be like draw another card or gain some extra money. And the game ends when your digging tokens overtake your supply tokens, the tokens you've sold. And then basically the game ends then, and then there's a extra little thing where the mine collapses, so anyone left in the mine at the end of the game loses points because they've lost their digger. It's really quite a straightforward and simple game. It's got the, I would call, the CGE sheen over the top. All the graphic design is lovely, components are lovely, cards are lovely, and it looks like a CGE. I mean, Rory, you pointed out when you opened the box and you went, you tell straight away this is a CGE game. There's something about the font and the colours used that it just stands out straight away.
CGE
you go, that's
aesthetic.
CGE.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah.
They're all very saturated, usually, the colours, aren't they? Very clear.
Yeah, quite warm, but there's just something that just looks like a CGE.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Review, then.
Yeah, I was about to say. So, what did you think of it, boys? Because the look on your face is not exuding, what's the word? Joy.
They're holding back, aren't they?
They really are.
I described this on the dog walk after playing it the other day, something similar as, this is like a ropey cover version of a song you think is okay.
So this is a karaoke version of Islands in the Street. Is that what we're talking about here?
It's not a karaoke version.
Yeah, there is a definite sense of game déjà vu here. I've not played this exact game before, but this feels like a game I've definitely played before. And the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, and to the point where I actually had to go on BGG, is Otis, if anyone played that, which was a game about diving and retrieving stuff. So you had to go down and get stuff and bring it back to the surface. And I had to look to make sure it wasn't the same designer or it wasn't a re-implementation, because there was something in my brain going, I've played this game before, and that's its biggest problem. It feels like a game you've played before.
When you were describing it, I have to say I got flashbacks of Salton Sea. Now I know they're obviously quite different because Salton Sea's worker placement.
You can still drilling, yeah. You're drilling.
You're still drilling. You're
recovering
still
stuff and
kind of
releasing them
managing
on.
your
Yeah.
hand of cards. It's not a deck builder necessarily, but that's what appeared to me in my head. But the thing is, Salton Sea was really good.
Yeah, this game. I didn't necessarily feel like I'd played this game before, but it felt like all the different aspects of this game I've seen elsewhere, and this game has kind of pulled these strands together and has made a functional game that it works, it runs, but it doesn't do anything that is particularly groundbreaking. Despite the name of the game, it doesn't do anything that is.
See what you did there.
Yeah, it was clever, wasn't it?
He didn't mean to do it. Don't give him
I
credit
think
for
he's
that.
been thinking about that all day. It was like last time when we recorded. He devoted run time to one joke.
This game just doesn't do anything especially new. I think the feel that the deck builder element is fun. The fact that you can see the first card, but that's about it. The new cards that you buy aren't exactly exciting. I think a good example is Lost Ruins of Arnak, also by CGE. When you're buying those new cards, whether it's the artifacts or the tools, I forget the other one's called, they do something very different to your starting cards. They allow you some new superpowers. This, it's just, I can drill more. I can move more. There isn't enough variety in what these cards do, and they just demand money from you, which is kind of like, well, why? All I'm doing it is so I can buy this so I can get rid of the other one that my deck cycles.
Yeah, so would you think having like an additional benefit of the upgraded cards would probably make it slightly more interesting? So say like you'd have one that drills further but would give you, an additional crystal or additional bit of money, or you could have one that would
tapped
do the
on
same
something
effect,
really
would
interesting
give you
there,
different benefit or something like that. So you'd have a choice between, I could kind of chain these things together and have a bit more sort of long-term strategic depth.
See, some of the cards do that. Like in the first game, I had a card which allowed me to hoover up black crystals, which is the least worthwhile one. But it meant that basically halfway through the game, I suddenly went, hang on, I've managed to upgrade my storage capacity, so why don't I just do it? And I tweaked my deck just so this card came out every time, which meant that I would just go to the earlier levels, where the black crystals are, mine, and just hoover up black crystals, go up to the surface, and was just popping back and forth.
And it was just filling it, and then you were escalating the game. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, but those cards were few and far between. The rest of them were like, oh, as Rory said, this gives you different amounts of drilling for a different fuel cost.
Yeah. I had another really interesting one that allowed me to teleport to any level of the mine, and it was really cheap. So which is great. But I saw that one card once over multiple games of this. That deck of new cards that you add, there's just not enough variety to make it really worthwhile doing it. It lacked the fun element. When you're building a deck when you've got a deck builder game, the cards you're bringing into your deck should do something dynamic. It should mix things up. It should create more synergies. I think the problem, air quotes, this game doesn't have enough things to do. You're moving, you're drilling. With those two actions, how can you build synergies with those two things? How can you build dynamism with those two things? It needs a bit more, I think. It needs a bit more to make this game really rewarding. Right now, it's just functional and it's fine and it's okay. It does what it needs to do. But I wanted more.
Yeah, it does sound a little limited. I mean, as a counterpoint, I've been recently playing Clank Legacy, with Laura and a couple of friends, and that obviously is a massive deck builder, and literally every card you have is different. So there's a huge amount of variation. There's a lot more fun. So I mean, that is a really good deck builder as a counterpoint, I suppose. I mean, they're obviously very different types of games, but the deck in it is always interesting.
You say it's very different. It's more or less the same. You're travelling underground to get riches and bring them to the surface.
That's very true.
You could argue it's the same game.
Yeah. Although it's quite a circuitous route that you take.
Yes.
Yes. And things happen. But yes, that's probably true. But yeah, I think the deck building aspect of Clank is a lot more interesting because you get a lot more choice. There's a lot more effects.
And that's what I think you need in a deck builder. Even if you go to like another classic deck build like Dominion, all of those cards do something different. There isn't enough differentiation in these cards that you can buy and add into your deck.
So you're saying you were whelmed?
To be fair, whelmed is I'd say whelmed. I think the game was fine. It played fine. It's a light game, and it's lighter than I think CGE have done for their board games in some time.
That's a good point.
So, we've got Cut and Horror, we've got Lost Ruins, we've got SETI, which they're not the heaviest of games, but they're in them that kind of medium,
3 to 3.5,
medium. Yeah. This actually is quite a light game, so this is really a 2, I think, 2 to 3 kind of thing. So it's lower than the others.
Yeah.
So I do think that maybe my expectations were expecting something. Especially when it first came out, people were going, "Oh, it's very similar to Lost Ruins." I was like, "Oh, I'd love a remix of Lost Ruins. I love that game. What can it do? What can a variation of this do?" And it's not.
It's significantly lighter than Lost Ruins. Significantly.
Yeah.
How long does it take?
It's about an hour.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not too bad, right? Okay.
It's not, you're not spending ages doing it. It's a very quick game. It's that kind of thing that if it did, you could see this doing well with people who are new to board games, but I just can't help feeling that this game should have come out 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, and you might have seen it as this kind of not quite classic, but almost cult classic, whereas now it just gets lost in the noise. It just doesn't, there's nothing about it to me that makes it stand out, apart from the production values, which are absolutely beautiful.
And that's my link, tenuously, to the golden oldies. If this game had come out 10, 15 years ago, it would be bang on the money for a great gateway game. Right?
That's a really bizarre comparison.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can see what you're saying, but it just feels weird. Weird to hear you say that.
It feels weird, Sid, because I kept having to think back to going to like Worcester Game Night with Andy 10 years ago.
That was a long time ago, good lord.
Yeah. And it felt like the kind of it felt like the kind of game someone would bring out. Oh, I've just got this delivered from Germany.
I know what you mean.
And that's what it felt like. And it just it's so frustrating because there's a lot of effort being put into this to make a game which ultimately just feels like I've played this game before, but I can't say which game it is I played. And which is weird when we bring it back to things like Bridges of Shangri-La and Mexica, which still feel fresh and still feel like, oh, there's meat here. Whereas this is a game where you just feel like you're going for the motions a little bit.
I think what you're saying is this is not quite matured enough yet. If you wait another 5 years on this, it gets into that Shangri-La kind of Mexico kind of time. And it might be what you're looking for again.
No. The thing is,
I'm trying, mate. I'm trying to throw it a lifeline. I'm there with the little life preserver throwing it in. And
I don't want to kick it where it's down, but I mean, there is very little difference between a 2, 3, or 4 player game of this.
Is it mostly multiplayer solitaire then?
Well, no, because you are working in the same mine.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone mines something out and doesn't hoover up all the minerals they've mined, you can do this thing where someone mines out the minerals and you go down, grab the minerals and run off with them. So you're all working to the same resources, but nothing you do affect. That's the only way it affects people. And you want to build, mine, you want to drill, you want to grab stuff because there's an element of first come, first serve to some of that stuff. But once you get to a level, you tend to get more of the same out of that level in the mine. So it's not quite multiplayer solitaire, but at the same time, you're not really affecting what the other people are doing.
Or rather, the effect is always the same, regardless of whether it's 2, 3, or 4 players. It's just the same thing is happening.
So
Yeah.
it's not a bad game. It's just
no,
not
no.
an amazing
No, no,
game.
no,
I think
no.
is what
Yeah,
I'm hearing
no.
from you.
This is it, Sid, and this is what makes it worse. Because if it was a bad game, it would be easy to give it a shoeing, but it's not a bad game. It's fine. I think Rory said it earlier. It's absolutely fine. It's just
Functional.
It's just
And I
fine.
think for us,
I'm expecting more from CGE. Is my issue.
compared to the
Yeah.
last games out of CGE that we've played, that we've loved, and it's just like, this is just kind of, it's lighter than we were expecting. We had higher hopes for this, for being more complex, richer. It wasn't that, and then it just didn't feel very rewarding either. And after the big hits they've had recently, this one just is a bit of a swing.
To put it into context, there's a little bit of a prediction. They've just announced today, as we're recording this, another expansion for Lost Ruins,
Right.
Wow.
which I think they've even said might actually be the last expansion. I think it's a whole bunch of extra
third
cards.
expansion?
I think it's the
Fourth.
fourth.
Yeah, I think
It's the
you're
fourth
right. Yeah.
expansion. I don't think Drillers will get any expansions,
I think you're right.
and I can't see it lasting that long. It might get one expansion that comes out at, say, Essen, but I can't see it getting several years worth of support because I can't see it being received that well. I mean, I might be proven wrong, in which case I will eat my hat, which is easy because I don't wear hats. But
And you're not eating one of mine.
It raises the interesting question though, about expansions and about publishers supporting previous releases that we should maybe cover in a mailbag instance. But talking about Kutnahora, I don't think Kutnahora will ever have an expansion.
no.
But then again, I don't
that
think it
game is really
needs it.
good. No.
But an expansion should never fix a game.
No.
That's not really the point of an expansion.
Quite a
should
few of them
add
do,
to-
oddly.
Yeah, but that's
Yes.
but that's not. Yeah, they do. I agree. Absolutely, that is what tends to end up happening. But if you need to fix a game through an expansion, you've missed something in the first instance.
No, I agree. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could fill like a whole mailbag about expansions. What was it, Steve? We played a Kickstarter delivery at the weekend as well. Where it's like, here's the Kickstarter expansion that comes with the game as standard. I was like, why the fuck is it an expansion? What's the point of that? Why not just have it in the game?
Money, money, money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, should we answer a couple of questions from the mailbag then to round us off,
Oh,
gents?
Why
did
not?
we just segue beautifully into that, did we? All right.
I think we fell ass backwards, but yeah, let's see what's up.
Let's own it. Let's style it out. Style out the landing.
Okay, so Samfire Games asks, what is in a name? I've been pondering this as I struggle to find the right name for one of my games. There's a vibe names like Root and Brass, obscure meaning names like Shazam, does what it says on the tin names like Terraforming Mars, and pun names like Isle of Cats, place names like Tenby. How important do you think a good name is? Is it a make or break or just a label? Or does it not matter because Andy will give it a nickname anyway?
I mean, I can't deny
Well,
that.
let's cut to the chase. Yes, it matters.
I agree.
It matters, yeah.
Absolutely, of course it matters.
It 100% matters.
I think it's so important to get the right vibe name for your game. You've got to hit on it.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. I think it's like trying to name a book or name a movie. I think it's a real artistic endeavor that mixes with marketing as well. It needs to represent what you've created, but it needs to grab attention and sell as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, one of the funny stories Seth MacFarlane was telling, because he directed and starred in A Million Ways to Die in the West. Great film, really funny. Worth
That's a
seeing
great
if you
film,
haven't
that,
seen
yeah.
it. But I've seen an interview with him, and he was told by his producers and stuff, for God's sake, change the name. Because it's just too long. You know, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. And he stuck with it, just out of stupid dogginess. But he's freely admitted afterwards, you know what? They were right. So a name is very important.
It's almost as important as the artwork on the box and everything else. It's the thing that you will... If somebody says to you, let's go and play Snap, right? Your pants do not get set on fire, right? It's just a dull, boring name. But you want to... Let's go and play Arkham Horror,
Yeah.
right? It instills a... There's something that comes with that name. There's a bunch of context.
It does what it says on the tin.
Subconsciously.
Yeah.
You're in
Well,
Arkham,
no, but-
and it's
yeah.
horrible.
but you're applying stuff that subconsciously you may never, if you've never heard of Arkham Horror, but you kind of, the name itself will stir up a certain bunch of opinions.
It sets expectations, doesn't it?
It does.
It sets an in your head. You're thinking, oh, horror, right? Okay, we've got a certain kind of vibe there. Arkham, you might know from adjacent things, and that'll add another little flavour into it. So I think.
Or you'll be disappointed because Batman's not in it.
Well, yeah, you might be, but the point is, by that point, you've been sucked into knowing more,
True.
and that's the point. Is you haven't dismissed it outright. You've kind of it stirred an emotion. It's triggered something in you.
There's another one, Wingspan. Great name. I mean, we are. Let's be honest. Rory's description of this game is on the money. You're not getting a click for that. But,
Sorry, I was reaching for it.
But it is.
Oh,
no,
give him one. It's less than 2 digits, Andy. Leave him one.
No.
The gaffer said so.
But it does what it says on the tin. You know, Wingspan does exactly what it says. It's about birds. It's a very clever name, and it's a very popular game. Fantastic. But you get to the point where Fishspan, you just take the piss now, Jamie.
Finspan.
Yeah, you're taking the piss now. You're obviously just milking the name. It doesn't have the same zing.
No,
it's tired.
I disagree.
I think it's a crap name.
I think it's a crap name, but it immediately ties it into Wingspan.
Yeah,
well, of course it does.
Therefore, marketing-wise, it's genius.
Yeah.
Stupid name.
But it's genius for a different reason. It's genius because you've already built that base with Wingspan. So people get spinning off that, and you get Finspan. And then, what was it? Dragon something?
Wormspan.
Wormspan, that's the one.
Yeah, but again, they're part of the same universe, gaming universe, aren't you? Go on, Steve. What are you about to say?
I'm looking around my shelves right now as we're discussing this and trying to pick out some good and bad names. And the worst name that jumps out of me straight away is Bitoku.
Bitoku.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that tells you nothing about
That's
the game
only because
at
we
all.
don't. Is it because Bitoku is a Japanese word and we're not familiar with what the Japanese word means?
Possibly, but it's a Spanish publisher as
is
well.
it?
So I mean, it's not like I said.
There is that. Yeah, of course,
Devere,
it's Devere,
so
yeah.
It's a good game, though, to be fair. But I agree with you. It doesn't tell you anything about the bloody game.
Yeah.
See,
it doesn't.
I'm doing the same here. I'm looking one of my beloved games, Waggle Dance. Now, Waggle Dance has
Perfect,
but it's clever if you know that Waggle Dance is a term about bees. Mm-hmm. So it draws the attention as well.
It's also quite a nice beer.
It is.
Okay.
With honey in it as well.
Bella Vista. Beautiful view, which is exactly what you get when you put this on the table. It's a bloody gorgeous looking game, this is.
I do like the one about Root as well, that all their games have 4 letters.
All leader games have 4 letters, yeah.
Fast, Arcs, Root, Avast.
Ahoy.
What's
Ahoy.
Ahoy, sorry. Yeah.
So Avast, 5 letters, Steve.
Avast.
So I think the long story short is here. The name's bloody important.
It is.
But we can't say why.
Yeah.
It's just going to stir something. It's going to trigger something.
Sid, you misspoke there.
Did I?
Yeah,
you meant to say, but I can't put my finger on it.
Oh, sorry. I was too articulate. I apologise.
That is not something we ever accuse Mr. Gillop very often.
I could be colourful, but articulate is not one of my strong suits.
Well, I think that rounds us off. I think that joke referencing the beginning of the episode is pretty good way to end it, actually.
That's not a bad idea. I was going to ask another question, but that's not a bad idea.
It's full circle.
Right, let's round it off then. Well, okay, then, since we've all agreed, we've actually made a democratic decision to end the podcast at this point. Thank you very much for listening. We have been Polyhedron Collider. As mentioned at the beginning of the episode, please give us a review on iTunes, especially if you're in the US, because that's where we're missing the written reviews. But all reviews are helpful, and also reviews on Spotify, because they also do a scoring system. Other than that, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Board Game Geek Guild 2726, and of course our Discord server, where most of our questions come in from the mailbag these days. But until next time, happy gaming.
Ta-ra.
Cheerio.
Take it easy.